Welcome to another edition of The End Zone along with Cameron Johnson. I am Colby Daniels. We have a special guest this week, Adam Francisco with The Suave Report, thesuavereport.com. Check out all of his work covering the NBA, especially the Oklahoma City Thunder, the fashion world, and the NBA and fashion together, and clearly the most fashionable guy on the Thunder beat. How are you, my man?
I'm doing good. Just keeping up with this wind that's going on, hoping I don't get blown away.
Yeah. We could get the wind out of here. Like, it can go with the All-Star break, right? We're wrapping up the All-Star break.
Definitely.
Let's wrap up the windy season as well. Unfortunately, it's just beginning. Did you recharge the battery at all as the Thunder have had this little week off?
As I was telling you, it's like when I have free time, now I have more time to take care of the things that I've been neglecting during, the busy season. But yes, short answer, yes.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. You get a little bit of a break, and it's like, okay, just stuff within the house. It's like, oh, I didn't realize that had gotten so bad. Now I actually have to deal with it. So it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. But yeah, no, it's been fun to kind of take a step back and recalibrate and see where things go.
Get ready for the second half of the NBA season. We will talk about the Thunder in the second half, but I want to talk about the All-Star weekend because you were in Los Angeles to experience the chaos and madness that is an NBA All-Star weekend. What was your favorite part?
My favorite part's definitely the events. A lot of people don't even know about the events that are going on around the All-Star weekend, but that was for sure the highlight. Just the private parties and the Converse events, and those are the most entertaining things to go to because it's uncensored, and you're seeing these guys, free and relaxed, and PR staff and everything.
Right.
They're having fun. They're genuinely just having fun. So that's the best part.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm curious with the new format of the games this year. It's always hard to tell on TV, but what was the crowd reaction to it all like? Was it? Were they feeding into it still, or was it?
Okay. So Saturday night, Daniel Bell, myself, Nick Crane with Forbes, we were all talking about how disappointing actually it was to see how the crowd was on Saturday night. They weren't very interactive. Intuit Dome is very...
I was that way watching from home as well. Yeah.
Okay, it's just kind of
flat.
Bleh.
Yeah.
It's just bleh. Intuit Dome does a great job with their production and the lights, and they had the whole arena lined in lights. So that was cool. But as far as the fans go, it could be better. Now, Sunday, I was impressed. I was impressed with the crowd on Sunday, and I was concerned because 2 o'clock tip time out there.
Right.
There's better things to do in LA at 2 o'clock on a Sunday than going into Intuit Dome in Inglewood. So I was worried, but proud to see what it turned into.
Okay.
I'm probably not supposed to do this because the Thunder and the Spurs are rivals, or at least some people don't want to call them rivals. I have dubbed it a rivalry. It is a rivalry. So I don't think we're supposed to give it up to Wemby, but thank you, Victor Wembanyama, for saving the All-Star game. I know that his team didn't win a game, but I thought his aggressiveness was ultimately what set the tone for the final stretches of this new format, which I absolutely enjoyed.
First of all, he's my favorite player in the league. I hate to say it, but he's my favorite player in the league outside of Russell Westbrook, who's more than likely on his way out. Victor Wembanyama is everything that we want our athletes to be. He's gritty. He actually cares. He works hard. He takes care of his body. Like everything that we want in a franchise player in the face of the NBA, Victor has.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of what the energy, I guess, that Victor plays with. And the fight. He was genuinely upset when they lost.
It was awesome.
He was very mad.
I loved seeing it.
Very mad. Doing all this and kind of fussing his teammates out. I'm sitting here like, golly, it's just the All-Star.
I absolutely loved it. The Thunder are going to have to keep Wemby and the Spurs at bay in the second half. They lead by 3 games in the West. So as we start to look at the Thunder and this final playoff push the last 2 months before we get to the postseason, what are your biggest takeaways, I guess, of the first however many games we've played and how the Thunder are going to recharge and kind of make this final push?
I'm thinking of their record. Do you have the record on hand?
42-14, I believe.
Okay, at this point last year, they had 10 losses. I'm thinking with all the injuries they've had, like all the issues they've had injury-wise, for them just to be 4 games back where they were last year, it's very impressive. I think we've undersold that. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I'm concerned about the Spurs. I really am. I'm concerned about the Spurs, and I'm hoping that they stay in that 2 seed and Denver stays in, I think, with the 3rd seed right now. I hope that stays the same so that they play each other in the second round of the playoffs and kill each other off so the Thunder may have an easier road. I really hope that's a long, drawn-out series so the Thunder will get a beaten-up version of either team, because that's going to be a physical series. I'm really praying for that because I'm worried about the Spurs having OKC's number. We know Denver has OKC's number just based on last year, but I'm really concerned about the Spurs strictly because they care. They care. Like, they really want to beat the Thunder.
Yeah.
They really want to beat the Thunder. They remind me of the Mavericks of 2024. That series where OKC lost to the Mavericks in 6. It's the same exact type situation, but I think they have the better player in Victor Wembanyama versus Luka Doncic. So that's what kind of worries me.
That's a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to the injuries too, I think what some people fail to remember is that when you win the finals, that's a shorter break too. And I mean, obviously it's just by a couple of weeks or so, but those games, like, that means you're going to feel them a little bit more in the early season. Then you throw in injuries with it. This team was tired. They're banged up. I think to this point, the injuries, like you said, I mean, it's really respectable that they are only 4 games back from where they were. But now that they've had this break, I think the key is the injuries have played their role. Now that you've had time to recover, it's time to, see if you can manage them a little bit better and hopefully make some big strides.
Yeah, I was saying just the other day, the reason why there's so many injuries is because of the short off season. These guys did not get, they played a little bit longer, and if you guys think that they won the championship, did the parade, and then got right back to the grind, you're just kidding yourself.
Yeah.
Lou was up in Montreal having a good time. Isaiah was in Fort Smith having a good time. He had another parade. Like, these guys didn't really get back to it until I think 3 to 4 weeks before training camp starts. So they got a very abbreviated off season. They didn't get that I guess, well, how do I say it? Maintenance that they should have gotten.
That's a good word for it.
Like that everyone else in the league got. So yeah, their body's tired. It's like they're still continuing next season right now.
Yeah.
Their bodies are breaking down.
I also, I think, recognize what the product is in the postseason, and I think they know what that is now and what that takes from you. And I think they know that gear is there, but especially with the short off season, all the injuries, they don't have to reach that level every single night like they did maybe last regular season. I mean, when you haven't gone through it and you don't, stand at the mountaintop at the end of the season, you maybe don't necessarily feel, the same way about how you deploy your energy over the course of a season. And I think there's a little bit of that in the regular season as well for this team now that they've won. We got to get it to a timeout.
Sure.
We're going to put Adam in the hot seat. It is moving the chains. We'll see if he can pick up a first down. We got some fun questions next here on the End Zone. All right, welcome back to the End Zone. It is time for Moving the Chains. Along with Cameron Johnson, I'm Colby Daniels. Adam Francisco is our guest this week from the Suave Report. Check out all his work at thesuavereport.com. All right, moving the chains, you're going to start with 1st and 10. I'll fire questions at you, and depending on how well or terribly you answer these, Cameron's going to give you positive or negative yards. You got to move the chains. All right, 1st and 10. Pick a Winter Olympic sport that you would most like to see SGA, J-Dub, and Chet compete in.
SGA.
As the Winter Olympics are happening right now, the big 3 for the Thunder, pick one sport for each that you would love to see them try to compete in.
Ice skating.
Okay.
They're like
for all 3?
All 3.
Okay.
For Shea, for sure, ice skating.
Okay.
Ice skating. His footwork is immaculate, so I would love to see what he can do on
I feel like Shea could pull off a triple axel.
Yeah.
Chet, I want to see him on them skis. I'm not going to lie to you.
The ski jump, right?
Yeah.
Gotta be the ski
I would
jump.
love to see Chet doing a little backflips on the ski. I would love to see that. And then J-Dub's a wild card. Let's say he gives skateboarder energy, so let's say snowboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, those are all respectable answers. I'll give you a 4 on that. I'd like to see them try and bobsled or curl as a team. I just think that'd be
as
funny
a team,
to,
okay,
like
collectively.
mic 'em up
There
and
we go.
see how that goes.
Yeah. That's a good answer. All right, positive start. So 4 yards. 2nd and 6. All right, start one, bench one, cut one.
Okay.
Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Start one, bench one, cut one.
Start one. Start one, Shea. Bench one, Russ. I'm sorry, Russ. And cut one, KD, because he cut himself.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a tough question. I think ultimately you start Shea. I agree with that. I think you can't go wrong with that. I'll give you 3 on that. And then the only thing I
37.
might flip is KD and Russ. I don't know. They're so.
You're not a Russ
there.
person?
No, I love Russ, but sometimes it comes down to ability, not just.
Usually
Okay.
she's the nice judge, but this time I feel like you nailed it. That would have been a
No,
first
I
down
said-
for me.
Are we
That was
saying
the
this-
right answer in my book.
Okay,
That was the
okay.
right answer in my book.
I mean-
So gain of what, 2?
3.
3? Okay.
3.
All right. So we have third and short. Third and short. You got this. What is the craziest media player interaction that you've ever been a part of?
Oh, man.
Whether you were actually asking the question or someone in the scrum was. What's the craziest
I'm not
interaction?
going to bring up the Barry Tremmel versus
Okay. That's
KD
fair.
thing, but that would have been it.
That's probably, yeah.
I'd say I had an interaction with Jeff Teague. It was a back and forth. I asked an honest question. Jeff told me not to ask that question. I just came back and was just like, "Don't tell me what to ask." And he like stood up and got in my face, and it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. I asked Matt Tumbleson about it. He knows all about it. That was probably my most like, I guess, nerve-wracking situation.
yeah.
Was going toe to toe for like 5 seconds with Jeff Teague, but when he stood up, we're the same height, so I was just kind of like, "What does that do?" Like, okay, like I'm also not gonna fight you in the locker room, so
Right,
let's just nip this in the bud. Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, that's pretty wild. I'll give you the first
First
down
down?
on that one. Yeah.
Easily the first
go.
down.
Let's
Now,
go.
did he tell you
Yeah.
before not to ask the
No,
question?
I
You
asked
asked or
him.
you asked it and then he.
So a little context, I asked the question. It was about when he and Dennis Schroeder were in Atlanta, and Dennis took his job basically. And I was
Yeah.
just saying, like, I forgot the exact question, but it was something along the lines of, "How do you feel playing Dennis Schroeder, considering like
Yeah.
y'all's history?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Don't ask that question." And I was just like, "Don't tell me what to ask. If you don't
That's
have
not
a,
how this dynamic
yeah,
works.
like if you don't have an
Right.
answer, just say no answer in
Right.
a comment, but don't, yeah." So
Good for you. Good for
Very
you.
awkward
that was,
situation.
That was the right answer on your part.
I was
Yeah.
a young gun too,
Yeah.
so I was a little nervous.
Yes.
Can
yes,
imagine.
100%. I'll have to share one of mine with you. I
Okay.
kind of like crapped my pants a little bit, but I'll share it with you at another
Yeah.
time. All right, last one. You already got the first down, so this is just, maybe you score a touchdown here, or maybe
Perfect.
you turn the ball over.
No turnovers.
I'm sure you probably saw some of the Celebrity All-Star Game over the weekend. Of
course.
What is your stat line if you're playing in the Celebrity All-Star Game?
Honest to God. Okay. So based on my experience playing, very few of them actually played
Right.
on a competitive
It's
level.
bad.
I'd say I would have got a good 15, 8, and 5.
Okay.
15, 8, and 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's
Modest.
respectable. Knowing
Yeah.
your background and knowing their lack of a background, I think that's totally acceptable.
Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, I'll just give you the touchdown
Oh,
for that.
look
go.
at that.
Let's go.
Look at that. I think she's trying to make good on the one she missed earlier, but that's
Yeah,
okay. That's
yeah,
okay.
You know, I'm a corrupt.
Well
rep.
done. Hey, we got in the end zone. Thanks to Adam Francisco from the Suave Report. Make sure you check out all his stuff at thesuavereport.com. Along with Cameron Johnson, I'm Colby Daniels. We're talking Oklahoma State football next here on the End Zone. All right, welcome back. Along with Cameron Johnson, I'm Colby Daniels. It wouldn't be the End Zone if we didn't talk a little bit of college football. This week, Oklahoma State finally made their 2 transfer portal star players, Caleb Hawkins and Drew Mestamaker, available, as well as a couple of the defensive holdovers from last year. There aren't very many, by the way, but made them available, and we're going to give you a little peek as to what was said this week from the Oklahoma State football team.
I knew the whole time, like, Coach Morris was going to be a huge factor, and wherever he went, like, that was probably going to be where I was going. And I was learning new things about myself on social media every day, that I was, getting this much money from this school and this much money from this school. Like, it was all stuff that I wasn't even thinking about. And but I told Coach Morris, I was like, "Coach, I want to still see what's out there, because, I never got recruited out of high school, and it's like I just want to see what's out there." But it was a pretty quick recruiting process, and I made my decision pretty quickly.
So much excitement. I mean, obviously, like I said, I grew up here. This is my dream school. I've wanted to go here since I was little. Grew up watching people in Boone Pickens, all the greats, all the wonderful people that have came out of here. There's not much change. I grew up here. I've been here my whole life. This is like my roots. I love Oklahoma, and I obviously have the same coaching staff, so.
In the beginning, it was awkward. It was kind of like that, North Texas guys, us guys. But as time went on, I mean, Coach Morris makes it like a thing that we are family. He's separated our locker rooms. He's put us next to new guys. We sitting here next to new guys. We got an event coming this Saturday, with barbecue for all those guys. They take pride in making us be friends and brotherhood. And yeah.
Honestly, I kind of knew I was going to stay here, like, after the Tulsa game, honestly. I'm telling y'all, like, I really didn't have any thought of leaving, honestly. I love it here. I love Oklahoma a lot more than I thought I was. I'll say that. I didn't think I was going to love Oklahoma this much, and, after living here for a year, I have grown to love it. And Stillwater's a chill city, honestly, and I love it out here.
I think it's going to be an exciting season for Cowboy fans. Obviously, the offense gets a total overhaul. New faces, new personnel, new scheme. Watching the Caleb Hawkins highlights again, if you haven't done so already, go pull up Caleb Hawkins highlights because he is a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And I think it's interesting to hear all of their stories, especially Drew Mestemaker, because for the outside perspective, I think a lot of people thought it was kind of a foregone conclusion he was going to follow Eric Morris, but to hear him kind of be like, that wasn't totally the case. But then on the flip side, also refreshing to hear at the end there, guys who want to be in Oklahoma despite that all. It's nice to see, especially in this day and age, someone who is loyal and true.
And just saying, I like it here. Like, I like the place. Like, that was very nice. Oklahoma hired a new running back coach to replace DeMarco Murray. Deland McCullough is the new running back coach. He comes from the Raiders, spent time at Notre Dame with Jeremiah Love, turned him into a Doak Walker Award winner, was with the Kansas City Chiefs and their first Super Bowl run that included former OU running back Damian Williams, also had stretches with Indiana and USC as the running backs coach. But on paper, this guy is a home run, also has one of the best personal stories in sports. I mean, he was adopted growing up, recruited to play college football, later finds out that his biological father was his college football running back coach and mentor that he had known for 20 years.
Wow.
Neither one of them knew, and they kind of already had like a father-son type relationship, and then they both found out that they were father-son. Neither had a clue. It's a really wild story. If you get a chance, you got to look into it.
But material.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they have made a documentary out of it, actually. So very cool. All right, we got to take a time out. It is the closing argument with Noble McIntyre next, right here on The End Zone. All right, welcome back one final time to The End Zone, along with Noble McIntyre, attorney at law and massive sports fan. I am Colby Daniels. So I'm glad that you were in the house this week because amongst my group of friends, nobody else is a fan of the Winter Olympics. So I'm glad that I have a fellow Winter Olympics fan in the house today. But I want to throw this at you.
All right.
There's so many sports, I think, in the Winter Olympics that we're not necessarily familiar with or don't see on a regular basis in the United States. So what are the Mount Rushmore of Olympic events for you to watch?
Well, I just had a birthday, so it's amazing I can still qualify as a curler. I could go do curling. But for me, it's always, I was 10 years old. I was 10 years old in 1980 when the United States hockey team played the Russians. And the Russians had beat us earlier badly. And we had just a bunch of collegiate athletes. They had professionals. And the United States won that. And my parents had let me stay up and watch it. So to me, it's always going to be the hockey. I know most people are going to say figure skating, which is great. There's always a controversy, the Nancy Kerrigan, the Tanya Hardings of the world, or the downhill skiing.
Yeah.
But for me, it's always going to be the hockey because of that 1980 hockey game.
Okay, what about the ski jumping? Does that do anything for you?
Well, are you ski jumping, or you also got the half pipe now?
Yeah,
Those people are crazy.
The snowboarding events are pretty cool. I know it's like new age, but I enjoy them a lot.
Those people need their heads checked. I mean, that is some crazy stuff they do. Yeah, I do like that. The downhill, back in the old days was a guy, I forget his name, where he just flew forever. I don't even know how you practice that the first time. How you come down and you launch yourself and you go halfway down the mountain. I
Yeah.
have no idea
Yeah.
how to do it. So I do enjoy that. I think it's a lot of fun to watch, but I remember that hockey game and when they're counting it down, and Almach said, "Do you believe in miracles?" And to me, that's always going to be the
That is
signature
awesome.
moment.
Between that and going 80, 90 miles an hour down the mountain on skis, like those two things, 1A and 1B in my opinion,
Right.
but I think you absolutely nailed it. All right, that is it for this week. Noble will be back next week for the closing argument. We'll see you next week here on The End Zone.